ESPN analyst who just quit.
Sage Steele.
Yeah, she was looking to get an extension. I think, sounds like she was willing to get it, but she wanted to have another child, and she was afraid of possible side effects. So she asked for an exemption, and they refused to give it to her. So she goes, you know what? It's against my principles, and I'm walking out.
And that's just the way it is. So, listen, again, we don't know how it's going to affect your fantasy team. We don't know how it's going to affect baseball. We don't know how it's going to affect the other sports going forward. We'll find out. But, not that they make it public knowledge, but if you have a guy in your team that might not be vaccinated, have his understudy on your squad too, in case.
I think for the most part, once they came down with the edict that if your team can't play because people aren't vaccinated, you're going to lose salary, the game's going to get forfeited. Even the team that you were supposed to play, even if they were 100% vaccinated, they lose their game checks and stuff. When they came down hard, during camp for the football season, I think everybody just kind of said, you know what, I can't afford to lose, $6 million for that day.
Yeah, no, my body, my choice means a lot to a lot of people, but apparently not if it's something that's
got a price.
if it's a push by the government. So there you go.
As the $1 Million Man said in wrestling, everybody's got a price.
No doubt about it.
So looking at our football squads, week 6, I lost.
You lost a close one, but you lost.
It was embarrassing.
You know what it is? My cousin Chris's team, who
stinks.
Inept. He has no running backs. Everybody got hurt.
Yeah, that's to be fair. Chris has got a lot of injuries.
He's devastated.
Because
Chris is, I think, in this league, I think we've had the league about 14 years. I think he's made the final 8 times and lost all 8.
Right.
He has never won it, but he's made the final a lot. I beat him myself 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 4 times. He's not. He never gets there. I mean, and everybody's hurt, and yet somehow he's fighting his way back to 2-4. So
he big 2-4. He's fighting back to 2.
Well, listen, there are a couple guys that are 1-5.
There's one guy
0-6.
0-6. Gus, he drafted Gus Edwards. Out. Raheem Mostert, out. Logan Thomas is always out, but James White's on IR.
That was his third back. So those were his top 3 backs coming out of the draft.
Yeah, but he also got hurt. I mean, he didn't get hurt because he won this week, but he had Mike Evans, who was ignored.
Basically.
This week Mike Evans will probably have a big game.
He was chided.
Again, that's what they do. But in my case, I went back and forth, and at the last
You didn't have a bad week, though.
I decided to take out Kadarius Toney because I was a little bit worried. Who knew what was going to happen?
2 weeks
stuff
in a row.
like that. And he played the first quarter, and he got hurt, and he was out. And he might be out for an extended period of time now.
I mean, listen, when you lose your 4th receiver like this, it's devastating.
But he was another guy.
But you lost 2 of your top 3 before that.
Yeah. So
I mean, Galladay's out. Slayton's out.
Yep.
Shepard is back.
Right.
And now Toney was 4.
Don't
He's
forget
out.
Board.
And
Board's out.
Let's not forget about the immortal C.J. Board. I'm bored talking about Board.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's your 5 receiver. So out of your top 5 receivers, only 1 is playing. And he'd be technically probably, I guess you'd call Shepard your 3 or your 2. Mm-hmm. Probably ahead of Slayton. Probably call him your 2.
Right.
But it's still, my God.
Not
that Danny Dimes doesn't have a lot of people to throw to.
Right.
And now you lose Saquon. So you lose your left tackle, Thomas.
Right.
I mean, I think the Giants are really looking for that top. They could have 2 top 10 picks this year.
Yeah, we are in trouble. We are in trouble right now. Devontae Adams didn't get into the end zone, but he still got me 12 points, which the week before he got me like 35 or something like that. So what am I going to do? I lose 160 to 149. Josh Allen pulls it out for him with 38-72 as far as points are concerned.
And gets stopped at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, and he beat me. So
I had a big win. I beat the North Dallas Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
I beat Mike, who always is usually competitive, but this wasn't really close this week. I beat him 150 to 113, I believe, somewhere like that.
115 to 113, exactly.
Yeah, 150, 08 to 113, 96.
Yeah.
Mahomes had his big, decent week. He put up good numbers. Stephon Diggs did, but Cooper Kupp again. And you know what?
He's immortal.
I drafted Darrell Williams, and I did not have Edwards-Helaire,
mm-hmm.
and so I was able to play him. He gave me 23 points.
Right.
I picked up McKissick the day of. I could have kept with Drake, and I would have been just fine, but McKissick gave me 19.
But he's one of the guys we said, pop on.
Absolutely, because in a shootout-type game, you need the running back that's going to catch the ball out of the backfield. McKissick had 8 catches, and that's going to be a difference maker. Brake did nothing for me. Claypool did nothing for me. McManus did very little, and the Buffalo defense was inept.
Inept.
I got enough from my top five guys. Five guys gave me my points. Everybody else did nothing. He started Geno Smith, which I was a little confused by. I really didn't expect him to do that. Yeah,
that's a lot.
I didn't expect that to be the way that he would go.
And that wasn't the wise of choices.
Well, he had Kirk Cousins.
Right.
And he went with Geno. And so he chose to take 21 points instead of 37. Still would have beat him without. He also had Derek Carr. He also has Russell Wilson. So he has 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Geno was picked up. I maybe he just wanted to have that Sunday night guy to have the late guy. I like playing a Monday guy or a Sunday late guy, so I feel like if I'm behind, I have somebody left.
You know, dude, it's not like you picked up Joe Burrow or something like that.
It's fucking Geno Smith.
You picked up like the 40th quarterback in the NFL. You
picked up a guy that got knocked out by a 7th round pick that didn't make the team, defensive lineman in your own locker room because you owed him money. It's pretty sad. So not Mike's best effort.
Looking at the week, though, as far as, CeCe Lamb, he led receivers with 39 points in our league. Kupp with 37. Thielen with 32. Donovan Peoples-Jones.
What the Hail Mary?
Who names their kid Peoples?
Well,
you know what? I can't call you Peoples, but after Uncle Peoples, I'm going to... That's your middle name.
You do understand that's a hyphenated last name.
I don't care. It looks stupid.
It's not his middle name.
Peoples.
That's his last name. Peoples
Jones. What is that? Is that Italian?
Yeah. Norwegian Dutch.
Norwegian Dutch.
He played at Michigan. He was pretty good, but nonetheless, no. He caught the Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary, and that's what gave him the big points.
Here's the thing: is Baker Mayfield ever going to be really good?
No,
he just isn't.
No. He's a Dilfer. Trent Dilfer.
He's probably a little bit better than that, but not a lot better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, he can manage the game, but now you're looking. They lost Hunt.
Hunt is out.
Chubb is probably not playing this week again.
Yep. Odell, who he wasn't throwing to anyway, he's out now.
I mean,
he got hurt.
Odell. And they're chanting for him like he's something special.
Right.
He had one catch for the Giants, and then he took everybody on a boat, and they didn't show up for the playoff game. Dropped a touchdown.
Yeah.
So now
Landry's out.
Dearness Johnson is going to be the guy.
The running back.
Demetric Felton and Dearness Johnson.
Felton? I barely know him.
Demetric can play wide receiver and running back. He played at UCLA. Dearness Johnson will probably be the bell cow, or the cowbell, as you like to call him.
He's the cowbell.
Dearness Johnson. Anybody that's sitting there with a lot of buys this week,
right?
You have a guy named Dearness Johnson that is going to somehow, some way, someone's going to bid $20 on him. To play running back and start. He'll start this week for somebody.
Yes.
And it's going to be Thursday night, so you're going to have to make that decision quick.
So you're going to be screwed early. You're going to be out of it by Thursday.
Either you made the smartest pick ever, or ridiculous. Now listen, the kid Herbert on the Bears had a great game.
Yeah.
The Kansas kid. So sometimes you pick these guys up and they do monstrous things, but sometimes Denver just says, okay, Baker's banged up, but says he can play.
Right.
Let's see if they're going to let Baker beat him. It's at Cleveland now. All of a sudden, 3-3. The AFC's weird. You got Cleveland 3-3. You got Kansas City 3-3. You got Denver 3-3. Then you got the Raiders and the Chargers at 4-2, along with the Titans. Everybody's bunched up. So it's the only team that's pulled out ahead is the Ravens, 5-1.
Right.
Everybody else is within a game.
Some of the receivers who maybe are not on your radar, but they played well this past week. Cole Beasley played well. He ended up getting 21 points. He was targeted.
The guy
9
you
times.
made fun of.
Yeah, he was targeted 9 times, 7 catches, 88 yards, and a TD. Let's see. KJ Osborne, we said, one of those guys you just pick up if you need a receiver. He had a good day. He caught
a touchdown too.
Yeah,
he
78
caught the
yards.
winner.
Yep, six catches on seven looks, and caught the touchdown as well. AJ Green's he's been getting
him, Rondell Moore. These guys are all catching balls.
Yeah,
I mean they're finding a way to get the ball to everybody in Arizona, which is interesting.
Yeah, he had 18 points with 6 targets, 5 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Christian Kirk actually played well as well.
He had a touchdown.
5 for 8, 75 yards and a touchdown there as well. But he's one of those guys who maybe you don't have on your
I mean, these are guys to look at. Yeah, absolutely.
And I said Paris Campbell, and it worked out well until he got hurt. He got one pass thrown to him. It was a 51-yarder for a touchdown. He got you 14 points, and then he was done.
And then he didn't want to play anymore.
And then he was finished.
I'm going home with my ball.
Yeah, he was out after that. So those are just some of the guys that we said, hey, we threw out there, and maybe they can help you. DeMarcus Robinson, he did okay if you had him. Tim Patrick caught another touchdown. So these are still.
Patrick always seems to do well.
These are some of the
guys. And
Jerry
Judy's back too, so that's interesting. That's why you released him, I know. But
yeah, but Alan Lazard, he played well, but he didn't play well. He had 5 targets, 3 catches for 27 yards, but he caught a touchdown. That's one of those things that just seem to happen. It's like an accident.
Yeah, the kid Mooney in Chicago caught a few balls. I mean,
low points. And here you go, Robert Woods, man. Cup has a super game. Robert Woods only had 11 points. He had 2 catches for 31 yards. The only reason he has any points is because he got in. Well,
the thing about it is, because the Rams play the Lions this week, which is fun because it's Goff against Stafford against the old teams. Mm-hmm. But if the Giants would have shown any fight offensively, the Rams would have thrown more, and you would have saw Robert Woods be a factor. But if Henderson became the factor because they kept running the ball, and the Giants said, we're not going to tackle him.
Why?
I
might break a nail.
It's a waste of our time.
That's what happens when you get sand in your vagina. And they play on turf. We mentioned Robbie Anderson, the immortal Robbie Anderson. He had 3 catches, okay, on 11 targets.
He dropped 4 balls.
He had 11 yards total. But he had a touchdown. But he's if he's still on your squad, then you've got issues and stuff. But some of those guys, we said DeMarcus Robinson, pop them in if you need them. Same deal again if you don't have them. And Donovan Peoples-Jones came out of nowhere, but that's because I have nobody there. And of course, it was the Hail Mary. But he's a guy you could pick up. I said Adam Humphreys last week. I think he was negative 2 yards.
Pretty much.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, another guy that's going to be open in some leagues is Elijah Moore. And listen, it was the Jets love him. This, that, and the other. Right. He might be the best rookie receiver. Okay, watch Jamar Chase and tell me Elijah Moore's the best rookie receiver. Because that kid looks like amazing. So does Devontae Smith. They both look good. Yeah. Even Waddle had a pretty good game. Him and Tua.
Waddle had a couple of touchdowns. I think he had 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely, had a really good game. But Elijah Moore could start to become a little bit more of a factor. They just have to get the ball in somebody's hands that can make a play.
Right.
And They generally don't. So it'd be nice to see if they utilized him as well.
Now, looking ahead at your tight ends for this week, Noah Fant had a good week. He has
a good week almost every week now. Yeah. Again, playing Thursday against Cleveland. Quick turnaround on the road.
They're saying
he's banged up. No, I know. He's banged up. So that's why I was saying the Thursday game, if he may not be ready to go, he may not be your guy for this Thursday.
Yeah. We talked about Ebron, how is he still alive? But maybe look into Pat Freiermuth.
Freiermuth is a guy.
Yeah,
He's
a guy. You know what, Zach Ertz? He's a guy. And Mike Gesicki, they don't know if he's a guy yet.
I was smart enough to release Gesicki after 2 weeks because they weren't throwing to him, and now they don't stop throwing to him.
Yeah, so 115 yards.
I'm sitting there, juggling Uzoma and Goddard on COVID.
Right.
Another tight end that's probably out this week because of COVID is Goddard. Mm-hmm. And then, I'm juggling Cameron Brate and all these crappy guys. And I had Gesicki and I released him. Smart play.
Nice.
But Ertz now in Arizona. Arizona targets tight ends about the least of any team in the league.
We'll see what happens.
But, Zach Ertz is Zach Ertz. He's a good player.
Zach Ertz flew to Arizona, took his physical, and then flew to Cleveland so he'd be on the sideline so we can learn the offense.
I mean, he's a class act.
Yeah, he's going to be
good player.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed now that I have.
All you guys, they had Saint guys. Michael Thomas probably still a couple weeks away, they're saying. Mm-hmm. So I'm just to go back to receiver, I'm sorry about that.
Jerk.
I am, but just so you know.
Yep.
Not to count on him if you were counting on him to be ready after week 6.
Yeah, we mentioned Mo Alley Cox. Not that he had a great game. He caught a touchdown. And that's what's going to happen, especially with these, barely there tight ends. You hope that they're going to get the 6 points for you, somewhere along the line during the game. Because that's all you're really hoping for.
I mean, that's it. That's going to separate a good from a bad. Yeah, listen, you have Kelsey, you have Pitts. these guys are amongst the elites. Kittle hurt again, so you can't really count on him as much anymore.
Yep.
And Hawkinson is a guy that's going to catch a lot of balls every week. Gesicki's starting to become a go-to guy.
Right.
So everybody else, you're sitting there saying, when did O.J. Howard get dusted off and start to play? Well, 2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah,
they're utilizing him.
Yep.
So does that mean that they like Howard better than Braid, or they looking to trade Howard? Gronkowski comes back. Who's going to be the second tight end? I mean, it's very confusing. This position is tough to keep tabs on. The Chiefs had a kid named Fortson that they were liking, and he got hurt really bad last week with an Achilles.
Right.
But he was catching some balls. So you're just trying to find that tight end is tough.
So what is it? What's his Achilles? Oh, snapped.
Snapped.
Gotcha. Looking ahead to your possible running backs, of course.